Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma today chaired a meeting of the Meghalaya Cabinet at the main secretariat in Shillong, where several key decisions were taken. Among the 10 agendas discussed, the Cabinet approved a proposal to amend the Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, incorporating changes made by the GST Council. A significant decision was the approval to establish an apex cooperative society for women self-help groups to provide financial services. The initiative, named Plathanka, derives its name from Khasi and Garo, meaning bag and money respectively. The Cabinet also decided to transfer the implementation of the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Plus from the PHE Department to the Community and Rural Development Department for better execution. Additionally, the Cabinet approved a proposal to amend and put an ordinance to the Contingency Fund of Meghalaya to meet additional financial demands.
Had a Cabinet meeting, and in the Cabinet meeting we had 10 agendas, and out of these 10 agendas, most of them were routine agendas in terms of regularizing certain aspects of certain service rules which needed to be amended. There were 4 of them, and these are just routine amendments that are required to be made. Otherwise, as you're aware, that the departmental promotions are stopped, and that becomes a problem, and hence these amended rules have to be in place. So the 4 rules, service rules which were amended today, was number 1, the Meghalaya Accounts Service Rule 1996. The second one was the Meghalaya Local Fund Audit Service Rules 1996 of the principal rules. And then was the amendment of Rule 5 of the Meghalaya State Electricity Regulatory Commission Rules 2003. And the 4th rules that were amended today were the Meghalaya Food and Civil Supplies Rules 2001. As I said, these are basically just basic amendments made in order to incorporate certain OMs. In some cases, certain wordings have to be changed, nomenclature has to be changed. In some cases, because of certain decisions made by the Cabinet, certain changes have to be made in the rules to comply to those decisions made in the Cabinet. So these are just routine amendments that were required in these 4 service rules which were done. Also, we have there was a proposal for the director, post of director for the Scenic Welfare Meghalaya. As you know, the incumbent Colonel Rai his term is getting over, and hence there was a selection committee which is headed by the Chief Secretary, and there were 4 names that had come in, or 4 applications that had come in for the post of the Director of the Scenic Welfare Meghalaya, and the selection committee from there have recommended the name of Colonel Darrell Hopkins, retired, to be posted as the Director of Scenic Welfare Meghalaya. Out of the 4 applicants, Colonel Darrell Hopkins was also the senior most in terms of his ranking. The Cabinet approved the proposal that was submitted by the selection committee headed by the Chief Secretary. Also, there was a proposal to amend and put an ordinance to the Contingency Fund of Meghalaya, and the amount had been increased. So the corpus has been increased to 1,000 crores to meet additional demand. Just to clarify with everybody, what contingency basically fund means, it's a provision within the budgetary system of the government, where once the necessary budget which has been passed by the Assembly is exhausted for a particular department, it has to be then moved through a supplementary demand in order to spend more if required. And while the supplementary demands are to be passed by the Assembly in the session, the contingency fund allows that provision to be used. Now, this does not mean that we have contingency fund that comes in and we increase the amount in the terms of the cash flow. The cash and the money is already available for expenditure. But because provisions are not there within the budgetary provisions, since the budget was passed by the Assembly, we need to move to the contingency. And even now, as I said, since we have cash available for certain expenditures, the provisions have to be created, and hence the contingency limit has to be increased for us to be able to go ahead with those expenditures, and hence this particular provision was incorporated, and an ordinance has been brought in to increase the contingency fund provision and raised it to 1,005 crores. Again, another very routine matter. As you're aware that the GST Council has, in every council meeting, amendments are made to the GST provisions. And as per the provisions that are cleared in the GST Council meeting, the states who are members in the GST Council have to amend their own states' Meghalaya Goods and Goods and Services Tax Act. In our case, the Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax 2017. They have to be amended through an ordinance to incorporate the changes that are made by the GST Council, and all state governments have to do this. And hence, there were certain changes and adopted in the GST Council meeting, which were now incorporated, and this ordinance was brought in to regularize those decisions made by the GST Council in our own Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. Also, we had a decision today. There is the implementation of the Swachh Bharat mission is, as you're aware, Swachh Bharat Mission Plus, Gramin Plus is going on, and in that, because of the challenges that are faced by the Public Health and Engineering Department, since the PHE department is also implementing the Jal Jeevan program, and because of the shortage of manpower to implement the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Plus, the decision was made today by the Cabinet to transfer the implementation of the Swachh Bharat Gramin from PHE department to the CNRD department. This is being done because of 2-3 reasons. Number one, the CNRD department has the manpower at the grassroots level to implement the project, and this has been discussed with CNRD department. Number two, most of the states in the country are doing that even today for the same reason, that CNRD department of respective state governments have the necessary machinery and manpower in the CNRD department to implement the Swachh Bharat Gramin program in a much faster and better manner. And number three, in a recent review meeting that was held with Jal Shakti Ministry, the Minister and the Secretary and government officials of Government of India have suggested to Government of Meghalaya to also shift the implementation from PHE to the Swachh Bharat mission. So it's to the Community and Rural Development Department. It's just the same thing, same project. All the aspects are same. It's just that the implementing agency will shift from PHE now to CNRD. The last decision that was made today, if you can just maybe draw your attention to the screen. So as you can see that Meghalaya today, we have, if you see the yellow section there which says SHG, that is the number of SHGs that we have today. That's 51,674 self-help groups are there in the state. That number used to be about 4,000 in 2018, and today we are at 51,674. The members used to be roughly around 30 to 40,000 in 2018. Today we have 5,20,177 members. That's the last column. And if you look at the top left number out there, which shows the SHGs currently has a capital cash flow of 1,000 crores in the rural economy. So this is money that's floating within the self-help groups in the 51,674 groups. That number of 1,000 used to be approximately about 30 to 40 crores in 2018. So that fund that revolves around the SHGs has increased from 40 crores today to over 1,000 crores. Now, I'm giving this background to explain to you the reason why we have taken this decision in the cabinet. And we have decided today in the cabinet to open up a cooperative society, an apex cooperative society of the women's self-help groups for financial services. And we are planning to call it PLA Thanka. So PLA is bag in Khasi and Thanka is cash in Garo. So PLA Thanka Cooperative Society, which will act as an apex cooperative body of the SHGs for financial services. What this does basically is to allow more access of funds through again a cooperative model at the top and apex level, where all the SHGs will be free to join this, subscribe to certain shares, and with a certain amount being subscribed in, they will be able to get, you can go next slide. One more, next. Next. One more. Yeah. So this is a rough idea. So basically, this is the kind of share capital and the amount that we expect will be subscribed by the different self-help groups. And as they subscribe into this and they deposit certain amount, they will be given access to funds, 5x or 10x of the amount that is deposited by them. And the benefit of this is, of course, that the cash will be more readily and easily available rather than them having to search and apply to cooperative banks or to other commercial banks, which then delays the entire process of them working. So this will allow and act as a financial corpus and a financial mechanism and a system that will be meant specifically for these self-help groups. This is being done in big states like Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And Meghalaya today is now the fourth state to come up with this model. And this is again in line with our commitment which we had made in the cabinet retreat that we had in Sora, where we had mentioned that we would like to see not just Lakpati Didis or Lakpati Kongs or Lakpati Abis, but we would also like to see that they become millionaire, which is 10 lakhs in terms of their revenue and annual turnover in a year. And that can only happen when they have got accessibility to funds like these. So earlier the scope of availability of funds was limited to the particular VO or the CF that was there, and they were limited to only their groups. But now this will allow all of them to combine and come under one umbrella. And obviously that would mean much higher accessibility to funds and a much larger scale, and in a much more organized manner. And we're hopeful that this will again act as a catalyst to see the next level of growth within the self-help group movement that's going on in our state. Apart from this, of course, there'll be many other steps we'll be taking, but this is a major step, and we're hopeful that this will be major as a boost to the overall movement of SHG within our state. So these were the 10 decisions that we made today in the cabinet.